of social use and some great social consumption outlets, public places. I would love to see a hemp spa and a cannabis spa. That would be phenomenal. And just the integration of social consumption and our use into society. That's the next frontier.
That's a tough one. There are so many things to change. I would say if I could do anything, I would refocus our priorities to people and planet over profit, and make all of our decisions focused in how can we protect this planet and make it a sustainable future for all of us.
I know that you realistically can't change minds just by clicking your fingers, but I wish that the cannabis culture wasn't discriminated against, and that the cannabis plant wasn't demonized, and that because I know that everybody can have a very inexpensively grown medicine that we all need as humans. I'm not forcing anybody else to use it, but I'd like the right to be able to grow it and share it with people, because I've seen it heal people. And it really is hard for me to watch people not have enough when I'd like to be able to grow enough for them, but I'm not legally allowed to anymore. So.
Maybe all of you probably get this all the time. Women, a women's group, why a women's group? And maybe more specifically, what is women's role in justice? Social, corporate, personal, women's role. Why women? What are we all doing up here? And why is it so important?
We're the ones that get it done. I mean, honestly, the organization that I work with, God love all the men in it, but honestly, at the end of the day, it's the women doing the work. The women, getting involved, showing up, writing the documents, having the conversations, talking to their friends and family. It's what we do. We're out there with people and we engage with it. It's a mystery. I kind of like the mystery of it. When there is a safe space among women, when women aren't being horrible and evil to each other, there's plenty of that goes around too. But when we're in safe space with each other, a magic happens that I don't have an explanation for. And in that space, that magical space, there's a synergy that takes place that doesn't seem to take place elsewhere, where we can make miracles happen, where we can heal the world together. And so when women get together in that space, magic happens. And I don't have an explanation for it, but I can tell you that magic will heal the whole world.
For me, a women's group, at the core is about representation, and I think that it's important that everyone has a voice in the way that the laws are changing, the conversations are being held, that it's important to involve a myriad of perspectives so that we get incorporated, we really build the society that we all want, that includes everyone and incorporates all of our concerns and our joys and how we want to see the future. And it's really important the ways that women help dictate and determine what normal is, what's appropriate. Women raise children and teach children, this is right and this is wrong. And I think that in the larger society, women have that role. And this is a community standards, this is what is appropriate. And it's vital to have that voice, because without it, I don't know. It's crucial.
I think some of the organizations in our state that I've seen over the years that have been like top heavy with women have tended to be the ones that, like say, in our state's regulatory decisions that they're making, the ones that are down there lobbying for the environmentally and economic, not just for the bottom line, but for the moral reasons that, when you think of cannabis, it can be grown one way or it can be grown another. and we're asking for it to be grown in a clean, sustainable way, and think about allowing everybody to be able to have a chance at the table, and those sorts of issues are important to women. I don't know why those aren't important to men, and I guess there's some women it's not important to, and some men, so anyway, yeah, but I think that's what I think, yeah.
I guess I think that it really comes down to community, and community is really the key thing here, whether it's the Women of Weed, the dudes of Dab, the Sisters of Perpetual Sativa. You know, I think that it is, for me, my social justice push is because I'm inspired by the women in this group. I mean, I feel a responsibility to help them with their projects. I feel a responsibility to help normal women of Washington push forward for social justice. And so it's my, I don't know, personal responsibility to these women that help me to push forward on social justice issues.
Can't imagine a bigger push, so that's a good person to have on your team. So here's a question that I'm guessing folks have, and I'm sure you've heard before. How do I get an invite into Women of Weed?
I'll just knock that one out the park. Okay, so there are 3 at the most. This is a limited membership. So, and you can't just pay your money, and matter of fact, there is no membership. You can't pay. You need to be sponsored in. So there's 100 originals from the Washington state that I kind of picked through all of my running around and through, you know, watching these women in action. And then each one of those 100 have one special woman to sponsor into the group. That's the second 100. And then the last 100 is the honorary Woman of Weed that Susan is a part of. Now these are just the badass women from around this country and around the world that are just fighting to just kicking ass, whether it's business or activism or whatever. What these women all have in common is that they've all done something, many things, many hours, something that was not for their own good. It was for the good of the plant. And so, you know, there's still 130 some spots left, but you can't just say, hey, can I join? You really just need to be out there doing the work and network. I mean, there are so many Women of Weed in this state. If you're doing the work, you're gonna meet many of them. And so it's about finding someone that wants to sponsor you in. Otherwise, I mean, my suggestion is, it's not Women of Weed. Maybe you start your own group. It's a women in biking and cannabis club. You know what I mean? It's really about creating a community. What I didn't want to happen with Women of Weed is I didn't want it to get so big that it was no longer personal and it was no longer manageable. And I think, you know, state chapters, that's never happening for Women of Weed. You know, Women Grow, that's a good thing, that's awesome, but Women of Weed is what it is. It's only 300. And what I said last night was, maybe that last 15 women, they don't even get sponsored in for another 10 years. Maybe it's somebody that's 12 years old now that decides that cannabis was her thing in a few years, and she just works diligently to make things happen. So we're in no rush to fill that 300. We are also, you know, so grateful for everyone's interest, and everyone can rock a Women of Weed shirt. So you can be a part of it without being a signed member. So.
And to support the vision of it as well. And I want to also mention, you know, that there are other criteria. Dr. Leaf and Dominic, hello. There were other criteria as well to become a Woman of Weed, and one of them was that you have to have risked personal freedom in one form or another. So, you know, really, was a no fooling around. It's a no fooling around organization.
So, to summarize on that point, start your own.